So I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit about Amazon FBA, how I got started, and whether it's still a good platform to sell on. But before we get into that, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, share it, comment, because I'm gonna be dropping a lot of knowledge on this channel, just real ways to diversify your income and how I did it. So my transition from contracting to Amazon FBA started when me and my wife relocated from Chicago to San Diego, and we started rebuilding our construction company. But one thing that I noticed was a lot of my customers out here on the West Coast, they will always be at home or they were on vacation with their family, and I was just real curious to what it was that they were doing. So I began asking questions. A lot of my customers began to tell me they were doing e-commerce, or they was in the tech space or app development or something on that lines. So I started paying attention to just how the platforms were working with Airbnb, Amazon, and so on and so on. So I went home one day, told my wife that I wanted to set up an online store. She said, okay, babe, well, what do we need to do? So I said, well, let me do my due diligence. Let me see what's out there. And came across Amazon FBA. So one thing that I noticed was Amazon was the largest e-commerce platform in the world, and the traffic was there, so that was a no-brainer for me. So after I did all of my research, I was just really excited to get started, but I didn't want to wait for products to take possibly 3 weeks or a month coming from China. So what I did was I went to the Dollar Tree, went to the 99-cent store, and bought a few $100s worth of products. Also, I went to Target and Walmart too. Bought some stuff from the clearance section and some things where the profit margins was there. So that was my first shipment on Amazon FBA. So I stopped doing contracting and I just put all my energy into Amazon, which at that time, I think that we just got in at the right time, because some of the things that we were doing then, you can't do them now on Amazon. So once I saw that we were able to get products from the dollar store, then began to go to thrift stores, pawn shops. We were buying calculators from these thrift stores and pawn shops for like $2, and we were selling them on Amazon for about $200. Another thing that we were selling was Brothers typewriters. We were buying these typewriters at $10, $20, and reselling them on Amazon for $200, $400, even $800 sometimes. So every time we saw these typewriters, it was a no-brainer. And we would even go on like OfferUp and Facebook and look for these typewriters, because the profit margins was just so crazy. So on average, for every $100 that we would spend, we would make $1,000. Every $1,000 we would spend, we would make $10,000. So that's how we scaled our Amazon business so fast. So like our second month, we was doing about 10,000 in sales. Then we started climbing, doing 40,000 a month, but we couldn't get over that hurdle. So I began to do more research and see, how these people were selling on Amazon, doing 100,000 in sales a month, 200,000 in sales. But at that time, it wasn't a lot of videos out there. But I came across this one video that was on Facebook, and this guy, he was doing like $6 million a year on one account, and he was hiring workers in the Philippines, but he didn't show how he was hiring these workers in the Philippines. So I did some research, and I had found this website, and it was called onlinejobs.ph. And then another website was Upwork. So on these websites, what you could do is you can set up a subscription, and then you can hire workers in the Philippines. And our first worker, we was paying about 50 cents an hour. Second worker, we was hiring, it was like $1.50 an hour. The more that we would pay them, we saw that the better, of course, better workers that we could get, because some of them had college degrees, and immediately our store began to scale. So we went from doing 40,000 a month to doing 100,000 a month, 200,000 a month in sales. And it just, one of the things that we were selling that led us into getting into the jewelry industry was jewelry. and the markups on Amazon, we would look for things that had higher profit margins, and that was the jewelry. So that's kind of how we got into the jewelry industry, was selling on Amazon. But I'm gonna make more videos exactly like how to set up an account or certain things that you guys want to hear more about. Just put it in the comments below, and I'll try to make those videos. But whether it's still a good platform to sell on, I think absolutely it's still a good platform to sell on. It's still a lot of room for growth on Amazon. Although you may hear people make these videos and they talk about how saturated Amazon is with sellers, but you got to remember, a lot of sellers, they don't last on Amazon, because a lot of people don't want to put in the work. And me and my wife starting our e-commerce store, we put a lot of work in, and it wasn't easy. So a lot of people think it's going to be a walk in the park, but some nights, me and my wife, we literally, we took cat naps where she was processing orders, we'll take turns on processing orders, and we just really wanted it that bad. So like anything that you do, you're gonna have to put the time in, you're gonna have to have the work ethic. It's not gonna be one of those get rich quick schemes. You're gonna have to really study the platform, you're gonna have to do your research and learn what works for you. So I think I'm still with new sellers that I've helped to start Amazon stores, they were still able to scale and grow their Amazon business. But of course, Amazon rules have changed a lot, with some of the things that you could sell, and just the different tactics that we use then. You can't use them as much now. You can use them, but the risk is higher for getting hit with a trademark infringement or your account getting shut down. And that's just as transparent as I could be, because if you sell name brand products and they tell you that you can't sell these products on Amazon, you have to remove them. But one of the things is, you can sell these products used. Now the profit margin is not going to be, as great, but you'll be able to still kind of sell some of those products how we started. It's just that you have to be approved in that brand. So, and there's ways of doing that, and there's ways of becoming an authorized dealer on Amazon as well. So I think that absolutely is still a good platform to sell on. And